We're surrounded by a constant flood of text, media, and documents. I mean, it's everywhere. But how do you make sense of it all? How do you find the real patterns hiding inside all that noise? Well, that's exactly where content analysis comes in. It's a powerful method for turning a sea of words into solid, undeniable evidence. And that right there, that's the core idea. Think about it. Content analysis is the tool that lets us transform that endless stream of words and images into something we can actually build conclusions on. It's how we find the important patterns that are hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so what is this method really? I know it sounds a little academic, maybe a bit dry, but the core idea is incredibly straightforward and super useful. Let's break it down.
At its heart, content analysis is a research method. So this isn't about just casually reading something and sharing your opinion. No, it's a structured, scientific way of examining content, whether that's a book, a bunch of news articles, or even social media posts, to systematically pull out real, meaningful insights.
For this whole thing to work, it has to be rigorous. So when we say it's systematic, that means you're following a clear, repeatable plan. Objective means you're trying your absolute best to remove your own biases from the equation. It's analytical because we literally break the content down into smaller, manageable pieces, like specific words or themes. And it's conclusive because, well, the whole point is to use that data to find patterns and draw real, evidence-based conclusions. Okay, so we've got the structured research method, but where is it actually used in the real world? Turns out the applications are surprisingly broad and probably a lot closer to home than you might think. Let's just take education, for example. Content analysis is used all the time to see if a textbook is actually covering the right concepts, or to check what kinds of questions are being asked on final exams. Are they just testing memory, or are they pushing for critical thinking? Researchers can even use it to compare how a topic is taught in 3rd grade versus, say, 5th grade, to see how the complexity evolves. It's a really foundational tool for improving how we all learn. So how do you actually do it? The source material lays out a really clear 5-step process that takes you from just a pile of documents to a solid set of findings. Let's walk through it together.
It all starts with step 1, familiarize. You can't just skim it. You have to read the material thoroughly to really get the big picture. Step 2 is to identify units. What are you actually counting? Are you looking for specific words, or are you tracking broader themes or ideas? Then, in step 3, you develop categories. Basically, you create these clear buckets to sort your units into. Step 4 is the real heavy lifting, coding the content. This is where you go through piece by piece and assign each unit to its proper category. And finally, step 5, you analyze the frequencies. You count them up. Counting how many times each category appears is what reveals the patterns and shows you what the content is truly emphasizing.
But here's the critical question, right? How do we know the results of a content analysis are actually trustworthy? How can we be sure it's not just one researcher's subjective opinion? This brings us to an absolutely crucial concept.
The key to everything is reliability. To put it simply, if someone else, or even you, a month from now, were to repeat the exact same process with the exact same rules, would they get the same results? If the answer is yes, then your analysis is reliable. It's that simple. And there are 2 main ways to check for this. First, you've got intra-rater reliability. This is all about stability. The same researcher analyzes the content, then waits a few weeks and does it all over again without looking at their first results. If the 2 sets match up, the method is stable. The second way is inter-rater reliability, which checks for agreement. Here, you have 2 or more researchers analyze the same content, working completely independently. If the results are highly similar, it shows that your categories and rules are crystal clear, which helps remove that individual bias. So this brings us to our final thought. Content analysis isn't just some dusty academic exercise. It's a powerful lens for seeing the world differently, for finding the hidden messages in the media we consume, the books we read, and even the policies that govern us. So the real question is, what patterns are just waiting out there for you to uncover? And with that, we've gone from raw text to trustworthy findings. Next time, we're going to build on this. We're shifting from analyzing texts to analyzing people at scale. We'll be diving deep into survey studies, exploring how to design them effectively and, just as importantly, how to avoid all those common pitfalls that can lead you way off track. See you then.